Today we're testing out a Battleborn 75 amp hour battery, and I'm going to do cycle testing with different amounts of current to see when or if it fails. Now in the last one I tested, if you pull 100 amps, it starts to disconnect after the third cycle, and then after the 30th cycle, I lowered the current to 80 amps, and then the whole thing melted. So for this one, we're going to lower it all the way down to 50 amps. And if everything is working and we don't get a disconnect, we'll slowly raise the current. Now for this battery, we're using the included hardware and the proper size conductor and lug for this terminal. We also have a temperature sensor, which we're going to connect right to the positive terminal, which likes to overheat. Perfect. And here's the cycling steps: 14.6 volts, 49 amps until it decreases to 1 amp, wait 1 second, and then discharge with 49 amps until it hits 10 volts, and then cycle over and over. Now we can start. And we're drawing 49 amps. So now the fluke meter is zeroed, and the fluke meter says we're pulling exactly 49 amps. Now this test will take a couple days, so we'll come back and we'll see what the results are. So it's been 2 days and I've put 14 cycles on this battery. And then today I opened up this garage door, the sun hit the battery, and it got high temperature disconnect. And it disconnected and reconnected 36 times in like a few minutes. But then I was looking at the graphs and I found something interesting. So first off, this is what it's supposed to look like. You have the state of charge curve with the voltage, and this is the current. You have discharge and you have charge. But then at the 10th cycle, look at what happened. During the discharge cycle, it dropped to 0 amps for a few seconds. And this is a complete disconnect. And then if you fast forward to today, there were rapid fire disconnects whether you try to charge or discharge, but the duration of the disconnect was the same as before. And after a few seconds, it gave up and dropped to 0, even though the voltage was all over the place. So it was trying and the BMS was doing its job. But look at the shape of these disconnects and look at this little blip on the 10th cycle. Now in the last one I tested, it happened on the charge cycle, but with this one, it's on the discharge cycle. So now we're gonna raise the current to 60 amps, but keep the charge at 49 amps because that's what the data sheet recommends. And we'll see if we get more disconnects, but at least we have a reference and we caught one. It only took 14 cycles and we caught one already. And now that we've graphed out the behavior of a high temperature disconnect, anything else that's disconnecting we can compare it to. Because that first one's just unexplainable, it's obscure. It didn't continue doing it, so why? And it absolutely did happen. So let's raise the current and see what happens. So now we're charging with 49 amps and discharging with 60 amps. Now something driving me crazy is it shows the real-time temperature, but it doesn't log the data. And it also doesn't show the charge and discharge efficiency in the Excel sheet. And I did notice that the temperature has risen over the last couple of days. When it first started out, it was at 30 degrees Celsius. And this will rise to 37 or 38 degrees Celsius after 2 days of cycling. But it's not logging that data. And I asked them how to enable it, and they're like, oh, we don't have that yet in the software. So hopefully that will be fixed soon. I'm gonna let this cycle at 60 amps and we'll see what happens. So now the 60 amp test is over and it lasted for 1 cycle. And then we got a complete disconnect. But I noticed something interesting. It happened at the same state of charge as the last disconnect. So first it charged and then it discharged and it pulled full capacity. And when it tried to charge up again, then we got these disconnects. Compare this to the first test. It pulled full capacity, and then when it tried to charge again, then we got the disconnects. So maybe this was not a high temperature disconnect. Or the BMS software is more sensitive to high temperatures when it's charging. Now this data actually matches the first battery I tested. I would get random single disconnects on discharge, which made the capacity seem smaller. But when I was trying to charge the battery, I would get constant disconnects. Even though voltage was still present, like it is here and why this machine keeps trying to charge it, it would not allow for current. Sometimes it would take all day for me to charge it and it kept getting worse and worse. So anyways, now we're testing with 70 amps and we're on the discharge cycle. So let's see what happens in real time when it tries to charge again. So I was filming the first cycle and it did not disconnect, but on the second cycle it did. and it disconnected at the exact same state of charge as the last two disconnects. So cycle 1, cycle 2, and then right when it reached a low state of charge, we got the exact same disconnect as before. So now we're going to pull 80 amps and see what happens. This is the disconnecting I've been talking about. We caught it on camera. And this one looks a little different. Now in this test, the temperature of the terminal was 30 degrees Celsius. It was relatively cool and it was a very short test, but we still got the disconnects. And also it's not accepting as much current as before. So let's test it again and see what happens. So I just started the test and it's already disconnecting. I can't get current into the battery. Oh, that was a longer disconnect. Okay, now it's charging. It's back. It's actually working. So let's run this until it stops and see what happens. Fast forward a few hours later and it's not accepting current at all. And I set the cycle limiter to 1,000 just to see what would happen. The current's still at 0 and we have the same disconnect as before, but nothing is changing. And it's happened for so long that the battery is now cold, but current will not flow. Just like the last disconnects, it happened at a low state of charge. It tries, and then it drops to 0 amps. But now it's not coming back. It reconnected for a little bit. Let's see if we captured that. Look at that. We finally got some current to flow. But why? Why would it do that? Seems like the more I cycle it, the more erratic the cycling behavior becomes. So we're going to continue this test and see what happens. A few minutes later, it's disconnecting again. Darn it. So now I set the cycle limit to 100,000 and I'm just going to let it run. And it will probably make for a very erratic graph. So let's come back in a few hours. So this test is wild. The graph is going crazy. I mean, where do we start? Look at how many disconnects we had. And sometimes patterns emerge. Like look at the consistency of these and then the consistency of these. And this is just a big mess. Now this one is very strange. We actually have a curve. And then these micro disconnects, and the voltage is going wild. Look at this. And these disconnects are at a higher voltage, so this is not at a lower state of charge. They're happening consistently now. Now this is not what you want to see your battery doing right here. Now with this test, we're pulling 80 amps. So let's lower the current and see if it improves. Now for this test, we're going to do 49 amps of charge and discharge, like on the first test where we got 14 cycles. That way we actually have something to compare it to. And now the test has started, so let's come back in a few hours. Fast forward a day later and I have 5 cycles and not a single disconnect. And we're pulling full capacity, so everything is working great now. Now right now I'm working on another video and I'm doing the same test. And I found that if you hit over temperature protection on even the cheapest battery, it actually shuts off. Having it turn on and off and disconnecting repeatedly is not the way you want this protection to work. And I noticed all the budget batteries work in the same way, but the Battleborn is different. Now with the testing so far, if we pull 50 amps, it can go for a very long time, but 60 amps, it disconnects like crazy. So we're going to pull 60 amps as long as we can until something happens. So we'll come back in a few days and see what happens. So 33 hours later, and it's disconnecting on every single cycle now. And you can clearly see it's getting worse. Before we could get 2 cycles, and then we get a disconnect, and then 1.5, and then a disconnect. And then we have a half cycle, a full cycle, but there's a disconnect between every single one. And this is not what we want to see, especially at 60 amps. Now in these 2 cycles, we had disconnects on the charge cycle, but the new disconnects are on the discharge cycle. So we're going to continue the test and see what happens. But yeah, it's getting pretty bad now. So it's been 99 hours and we finally have some crazy results. So previously we were getting the usual disconnects on every cycle, but we could still pull some capacity. But now it's degraded to practically nothing and it's disconnecting non-stop. So this is what it was before. And this is what it's like now. We've had 23,000 disconnects. And you can see how it progressively gets worse over time. And now there's practically no current going into this battery, so it's pretty much dead. But the terminal is not overheating and the case is not melted. So let's tear this thing apart and see what happened. So first thing we're testing is the voltage, and we have 12.7 volts, but current will not go into this battery. And this is very common with these Battleborn batteries when they fail. A lot of people take their battery bank apart and they test for voltage and they say, hey, there's voltage, it should be working fine. But that is not true. You have to test the battery individually and do a capacity test to see if it can actually accept current. On some people's battery banks, the majority of their Battleborn batteries are having this issue. So if you have these batteries, you need to take them apart and test them individually. Now the moment of truth. First, we're gonna inspect it on camera. Now this battery looks fine. I don't see any melting or discoloration anywhere. And the positive terminal looks fantastic. It's a nice deep red. Usually when these batteries go bad, this changes color, but everything looks great. The sides look perfect. Nothing bad at all. So first off, the color of these bus bars is different because this one's overheating. Next, all the supply conductors are loose. And we found this in every battery that has this issue and doesn't have this issue. And this is because this electrical connection is held together with plastic. And this is the exact same way that the other Battleborn that I tested failed. This thing melted and then you have a loose connection. This is what it's supposed to look like, and this is what it looks like when it melts. All right, this thing smells really bad, so I'm gonna get out of my shop. Now, next to the spot that it overheated, the cell was damaged as well. But luckily, this one wasn't that damaged. We didn't use that much current. Previously, the higher current one melted the whole thing. It was charred to oblivion. But even with 60 amps on a 100 amp BMS can get the same issue. And we know this problem exists and we have the data. And all the data I'm gonna release publicly. So I'm gonna have a link down below and you can download the files yourself. And what's driving me crazy is I'm proving this problem over and over again. And guess what Battleborn Batteries posted? A public statement about this issue. They said that Battleborn remains fully confident in the safety, reliability, and quality of the batteries our customers rely on every day. We understand that questions about battery safety are important and we take those seriously by evaluating them through data, testing, and field performance. What are you testing? I just imagine a kid with a stethoscope pretending to be a doctor. Are you serious? You have a problem. You guys either didn't test it and you don't know, or you tested it and you do know and you're keeping it a secret. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Some online commentary has raised concerns based on isolated demonstrations and theoretical scenarios that do not reflect how our products are designed, built, and installed and operated in customer systems. I just melted one of your batteries with 60 amps. It's rated for 100 amps. You cannot use plastic in an electrical connection. This should be recalled. This product has a problem. And it's a safety issue, and this response is ridiculous. You guys are pathetic. This company is a liability to anybody that buys their products. I can make this happen on any battery anytime. Also, I've been testing other batteries, and the high temperature disconnect works. This does not work. Having it disconnect multiple times per second is not how you make this product work. Our products are engineered with multiple layers of electrical and thermal protection and are assembled in the United States by teams who take pride in their work. To date, our design has been validated through extensive testing and years of operation across hundreds of thousands of deployed batteries. People have systems where the majority of your batteries are failing. If data from testing, certification, or field performance ever indicated a systemic safety issue, we would take immediate action. No such systemic safety issue has been identified. We remain committed to data-driven engineering and validation, US-based technical support, and proven performance in demanding applications. So before they said it was a thermal failsafe and then we melted the whole battery. Well, I have a whole pallet full of batteries and that thermal failsafe did not work. It created a loose connection and it caused more overheating. Overheating is not a design feature and you did not validate it. It is garbage. It is a bad design. Now I have all the data on Excel spreadsheets. So what are you guys gonna do? You need to do something. You can't just ignore this problem. These batteries have uncontrolled arcing and overheating. These need to be removed from service. Something else that's driving me crazy is Battleborn says, oh, it's to our UL standard. These batteries conform to a UL standard and it's tested by a third-party lab. They are not UL listed. Which makes me wonder, how are they the OEM supplier for these trailers and RVs? How did that happen? Now, there is a class action lawsuit investigation, and I'm not part of it. I'm not an attorney. My job is to test this stuff and share my results. But if you have these batteries and you're having issues, which yes, you have to take your battery apart and test them individually, please contact an attorney because something needs to be done. These batteries are not getting recalled, the company denies everything, and the batteries are still for sale. And I've proven multiple times that there is a real issue. Usually when I call out a company, they fix the issue and it's done. No one cares. This company is not doing that. And this one is a big one. This is a safety issue. You have arcing, you have melting. That's not okay. And you can reproduce it in a brand new battery. I've done it twice now with not that much current. So anyways, I hope you liked the video. If you want to see the data, it will be listed down below. I'm a little mad because I hate that statement. I read it and I was just getting angry. I was like, what in the world are these people thinking? So anyways, I hope you liked the video. Please let me know what you think down below and I will see you in the next one. Bye.